Hello, good morning for everyone. Welcome to this video. I'm Jorge Luis Mendoza Roa, and this is my video for English Fight. Today, we are going to talk about the topic Perish the Thought of Over-Reliance on Technology. Okay, to start with this speech, it is important to know what it means. What it means, perish the thought of over-reliance on technology. When we are referring to this, we are saying that we need to avoid the thought or use the technology in itself, yeah, because we are depending so much of that technology. And we say that is because, yeah, you are using that in excess. You are using the platforms, the AIs, all the devices to do all your daily activities, like easier, yeah. Now, to illustrate that in a clear way, I'm going like to explain you about the GPS. Yeah, you know what is a GPS? That is like a platform or an app that we use to look for an address. But in my opinion, and many people think that we need to avoid relying on GPS to all the twists that we do. And why? This is because we are risk forgetting how to look for an address for ourselves. Yeah, you know, because the GPS help you to look the direction and say you have to do for this block, for this corner, and it will be easier for you. But what happens if you don't have the internet, if you don't have your cell phone? I don't know, for different situations that can happen, and it will be more complicated for you to look for the directions. For that, you need to learn how to look for the direction, and you need to learn how to think in a critical way to develop this situation and for different other activities. Like for example, in classes, like in English, try to think for yourself and don't use the translator or the artificial intelligence to look for a word. Okay, uh, furthermore, I want to explain you something about the speaking public. This is something that is so common, but we are failed to communicate effectively with our friends, with our family, and this is because we are using the technology in excess, and we are forgetting how to communicate effectively with the other people. In my case, I have to say that when we were like in 1922, we were like in the with that virus that was called the COVID-19, and in that moment we were all the people in at homes, and we were like communicating using the computers, our cell phone, all the technology, the classes, all the work, all of that was through the technology. And I have to confess that I had forgotten how to communicate with my friends. When I came back to the school, it was so complicated for me because I felt like shy that, oh my God, what is happening? I can't speak effectively with them. It was because I had forgotten how to communicate myself effectively because we were so accustomed to use the technology. Uh, at that moment, I said, "Oh my God, speaking was not as difficult as I speak through the computer." Yeah, it was something that I said because wow, what is happening with me? Because uh, I I was I was good at that, and why at this moment I'm bad? Okay, to continue with this speech, I'm going to give some reasons or some arguments that I have to express uh, to to express why we have to perish the thought of over-reliance on technology. The first argument that I have is because over-reliance on technology creates dependency and vulnerability. This is something that is so common because all the people is accustomed to use the technology to develop all their daily activities. And when they don't have that technology, they are going to feel so bad because they say, "Oh my God, how am I going to do that? I'm not able." Yeah. And an example to illustrate these ideas is this one. It happens like 2 months ago in the in Europe, and it was because in Europe there was like a blackout in all the country. I don't remember well what was the situation, but there was a problem with the power, and all the people uh, became crazy. Yeah, they were crazy because of that, because they were not power, the public transport was not working. Yeah, and it was so difficult for them. I'm sorry. For that, I have to say that the European societies are not as accustomed to surviving without technology as Latin American societies, because doing this comparison, we said, oh, Latin American societies are accustomed to live without power because this is maybe something normal for us. We said, ah, if we don't have power, we can do something else. If we can cook with our electric stove, we can use wood. Yeah. Um. Okay. And for that, we made this comparison and we say that over reliance in technology is bad and we need to perish that thought. Um, we have to say that with this situation that the European societies live, the Europeans were terrified because of that. To illustrate that, a European woman was reported crying and screaming by the journalists because they were crazy because of that. Okay, right now to my second argument to talk about this is that the over-reliance on technology reduces human interaction. Uh, when we say that, it's because the technology cuts down on meaningful conversation. Yeah, it is something obvious because all the people are using like the technology and they don't try to communicate themselves with other humans to get like a real interaction between them and to speak about a topic in common. No, because the people tend to focus on their screens. Yeah. For example, when you are like eating or something like that in a restaurant and you go like with your friends or with your family, you saw like the people is always like in on their cell phones, and they are like, I don't know, watching a movie or watching their social media, and we say why this is happening. It is incredible, yeah. And for that, we need to look into the effects of over reliance on technology because overusing social media have led to a decrease in face-to-face communication. This is something real that happened with the teenager, adults, children, with all the societies in general. Okay, the my other argument to this speech is like the over-reliance on technology weakens critical thinking. Yeah, when we are referring to this, it's because the people tend to use the technology, the artificial intelligence to develop all their activities in their daily life. For example, when they are studying, they always use like the technology to do. Maybe they say that they are like easier at scenes, but if they try to do that without technology, they are not able to do that. For example, in maths or in physics, we have an example in a class that I were when I was at the school. We always we in that classes we can use like the calculator to make different operations like multiplication or divisions. But my classmate forgot the calculator. Oh, and they said, "Oh my God, I'm not able to do that." And and she said that I have like she asked me for my charger because the her cell phone uh, wa- was with not share, and I said to her, and I let her use my charger, and with that she was able to develop the activities using her cell phone's calculator. Yeah, and for that we say that the technology weakens our critical thinking skills because we are always using that to do different things. Or for example, in English, we always use like the translator because this is like a function on the technology that we can use to translate a word to Spanish or English. And we always say use that because maybe it is easier and faster, but we are not thinking critically and we don't use the dictionary to do that. Yeah. For that we we ask we ask to the people in general that do you use your cell phone all the time? And all the people say yes I do, and other ones say so I do. Yeah, it is something that we need to think about, that all the people is using their cell phones all the time and they don't have like a real interaction with their families, with their friends. To sum up and conclude with this speech, we have to say that according to all these arguments, we say that the people uh, is feel dependency and vulnerability. They reduce all their social interaction with the humans, and they are not thinking in a critical way because they are losing all that skills that they can use to develop these activities because they are always using the technology to do daily activities. Yeah, they are like not having a good interaction with their children. Like for example, the parents, they are not having a good interaction with their children, and we can say that, for example, um play outside, play board games, play a game like hide and seek is as fun as play with the computer. It is fun too, and for that we need to promote that thinking in the new generations. This is like a general conclusion that we can give, that we need to perish the thought of in our children as over reliance on technology. And to end with this speech, we can say this phrase that we say like to the people that say, "I can't imagine life without the internet." Yeah. And the people say that, and many people say, neither can I. This is something that we say, oh my God, we have to think on that because we need to learn how to live without technology because it is possible. It could happen something in our world that in that the power maybe not work well because many reasons. I don't know, maybe headquarter, something like that. And yeah, it is important to learn to live without technology. This is the final conclusion to this speech. Thank you for everything. It was a pleasure to be here with you in this video and with this course. Thank you for everything. Goodbye. I see you in another opportunity.